the Pearl L. Crawford Memorial Library Board of Trustees meeting Tuesday, February 22nd, 2022. Call to order, pledge of allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, so review meeting minutes from January 11th. We'll accept a motion when ready.
Motion to accept as presented.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any discussion before I say that? Any discussion?
That's the first one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
So, well, they- no,
oh, wait.
no,
No, mine are in
I
a
think
different order.
keep going down. There you
This
go.
one.
There you
Oh, I
go.
haven't read this one yet. So,
January 11th? You should have been sent them.
oh, these are just the regular, no,
Yes,
this is the
regular.
executive.
Right. we
Yeah, they
just
were in
gave
the
you
email,
those.
yeah.
The executives, we're not voting on those right yet.
Oh,
These are the open meeting?
Yeah, I have copies of the regular if you need them. Nicole.
oh, open meetings are right. Open meetings I'm good with. Okay,
Yeah,
sorry,
those
I was
you were
trying to
sent. The
read
executive
this while
ones
you're
haven't-
talking.
We just got
But I think you said the wrong date.
January 11th, 2022?
Two, yeah.
Yeah, there should
okay.
be open meeting minutes.
Jesus Christ. Yep.
Those were sent to you, so
Gotcha.
unless you didn't print them out.
No, I read those in one, yeah, gotcha.
Yes.
Like data.
Jeez.
Open meetings,
Right
I'm
there.
good.
Yes, you got those, yes.
You're
thank
good
you.
with your approval.
I removed it.
Okay, it was seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
That's all.
Moving down to meeting minutes from January 25th. Make a motion
That
to
one's very
accept?
short, so.
Yes. Kathy, motion to accept. I have a second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 All right, so now we are to executive meeting minutes. So I'm going to go to the ones that were approved but not released first, which is Tuesday, October 26th, and Tuesday, November 9th.
I make a motion to approve the executive session minutes from 10/26/21 and 11/9/21, which have previously approved, but now we approve to release.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Who seconded?
Ben.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry.
Oh,
Not me.
really, yeah, just keep going over.
All right, and then the next executive session meeting minutes from, can I just do?
January 11th first.
Oh, January 11th, yes, January 11th. I'll accept a motion when ready.
I make a motion to approve and release the minutes of January 11th, 2022.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. And now our January 25th executive session.
I make a motion to approve the executive session minutes approved from January 25th, 2022,
And to be released.
and to be released.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
MLA is late. So we will move on down to reviewing objectives, the mid-year report. So do you want me to read them, Drusilla, and then you just provide the feedback?
Sure.
Okay. So the objective was in accordance with fiscal year 22 action plan and with the youth services librarian, reach out to schools and make administrators and staff aware of library resources and our opportunities for students.
So Lita and I have reached out to the administrators. We were hoping to arrange an in-person meeting with the superintendent, but they are still in lockdown, so we haven't been able to do that. However, they have been excellent about any of our flyers and so on. Lita sends them flyers for all of our upcoming programs, and they reach every student in the district through the superintendent's office, which has been fabulous. And we have also started seeing quite a few. In fact, we had 2 more call today of the Honor Society students contacting us about volunteering.
Awesome.
So we're still hoping to do an in-person meeting, but it will have to wait until there are COVID restrictions.
Could you offer a Zoom meeting?
Yeah, we have, but I think they're kind of zoomed out at this point. So, but we're in touch with them, and Lita certainly talks to the superintendent's office regularly, so.
Well, I mean, versus the superintendent's office, I was just wondering about like the school librarian.
Yep, she also, has done sort of intro to the library. In fact, I filmed her. I got to follow her around the library. Intro to the library videos for, I think it's the 3rd grade classes. They wanted to come to the library, but again, COVID restrictions meant they couldn't, so we did a sort of intro to the library, with me trying not to trip over the furniture as I filmed her. So we've been able to do that, and the teachers, we've had several teachers, reaching out to us about different things, so I think word is getting out.
And just to plug in there for any parents that might be watching, if there are any, it is in the digital backpack, so you won't see flyers go home because the school stopped printing the flyers.
You answered my question.
Yeah. But
I did ask that question too, of Lita, and
It's-
Lita wasn't sure, so.
yeah, so because she was checking with me if I'd gotten any flyers, and I
Yeah.
was like, no.
Yeah.
So she checked with them where exactly they're going because
Right.
the school was telling her that
They
they are
were
getting the flyers
They were
out.
printing them at one point.
Yeah, so they're not anymore.
Okay.
So heads up, they are there. They're in the digital backpack along with anywhere where you would see like sign up for baseball or sign up for soccer. They're along, and they are beautiful. Like the one for the this dog sled team coming up, they look really nice. So hopefully.
Good.
It's
people
hard
can
because I
get
don't
in
have
and see
access
them.
to that, not having students anymore, so we don't get to see that.
It's the
They're
same
there.
flyer, it's the same flyers that are posted like within the library, we just use the same ones, so.
Yep, awesome.
So they are there.
Good,
Okay,
thank
that's
you.
good to hear, having a
Good
parent.
mind reading. Literally, I was gonna say, how are these going these days?
I know everything is changing so quickly.
Exactly.
Yeah.
No, I didn't even know there was a thing called a digital backpack, so.
Thank you to Lita. Now I do. I didn't know either. So.
All right, so, the next one, in accordance with fiscal year 22 action plan, work with Studio MLA to coordinate RFPs, site visits, other aspects of the ongoing Crawford Corner project.
So obviously, we are
That's
doing that.
We're doing that
Um,
tonight. Yes.
And, I have gotten some emails from them, like I got one from Joanne today asking for these, drawings and so on, so, we're, obviously, it's ongoing.
Yeah. And I would just ask that you verbally say to her that we do want that back.
Oh, it's in writing.
Okay,
When
thank
she
you.
emailed me, I was like, I can give
Okay.
you a hard
Yeah.
copy. Well,
That would be my only thing.
I'm going to offer to give them to her if she would prefer that I mail them directly to the firm. I can do that as well, but yes,
Yeah.
it's in writing
Okay,
that
thank you.
we need them back.
Yeah, just, I didn't want it to get lost. All right, in accordance with fiscal year 22 action plan, request capital funding for replacement of carpet and funding for additional part-time position during the annual budget process.
So actually, we requested a full-time position, not a part-time, as the board had requested. So both of those were requested. Where we are in that, I have no idea, but the request was made, so.
So you requested, for the capital
Yep,
for the
Yeah.
carpets, okay.
I essentially said, hey, that capital plan that we're in? we, you know, we
And when
need that.
when do you expect to meet with
Let's
the town administrator to do budget? Like, when is that timeframe?
I was actually expecting with a couple of weeks ago, but, I don't know that
Have you heard,
he's-
has anybody else, has he
I
started
have
the
not
meetings?
heard that he's met with anybody,
okay.
so I don't know.
Next one. In accordance with fiscal year 22 action plan, post monthly to social media sites regarding technology resources available at the library, and beginning monthly Tech Tuesdays for one-on-one patron help.
So we've been doing the monthly posts about, you know, some of our, and it's kind of fun, like when I did one about the databases that we have available, the monthly use for databases jumped that month,
Cool.
like, and then went back down again. I think people were like, really, there are databases, let me go look at them, and didn't necessarily do anything with them. And we've been doing sort of, not so much Tuesdays, but it's tech any day that the director is free and that the patron can come in, because it doesn't seem to work necessarily that they're free on Tuesdays, but, so last week I spent, I
Well, it
think
sounds like your Tuesdays are.
my
kinda
Tuesdays
tight.
at the moment are a little
Right, yeah.
insane, but last week I spent about 2.5 hours with a patron, getting her set up with an email and getting her on Facebook and so on, so, so I've been doing probably a couple of those a month.
And does anybody else on staff be able to help with that? Cause I hate to drag you away from something you
Yeah,
could be
no,
doing.
most of them it's me, because I'm the one with, you know, I can't take somebody off the circulation desk to do that, or I would have to cover the circulation desk for them, so it's my bailiwick to do it, and I, you know, it's kind of fun to have the chance to interact with patrons,
Oh, yeah.
you know, so.
Had been Heather for a while.
Yeah, but right now it would be me taking somebody off the desk, and then I'd have to cover the desk, so I might as well do it myself.
And I know we talked about mobile hotspots. Can you just work?
So we received a grant, from the state, provided 5 mobile hotspots, and the data plans for those, which are covered for, I believe it's 2 years. So we have those available, and, they've been going out. We haven't had all 5 out at once, but there's usually at least 1 out. And I expect, over the summer that we had 3 of them out over Christmas break, and I'm guessing that over vacations, you know, as people travel and wanna take the internet with them, that those will go. But it provides free internet access, to your mobile devices, free wireless internet.
How long are they allowed to have it?
You can have them for 2 weeks, and then after that point, they have to bring them back. We actually have to see them and renew them
Yep.
by seeing them in person.
Like them and all their pieces?
And all of the pieces,
Okay.
yes, and then if they do not come back, when the system alerts me that they have not come back, I can go in, there's a web interface, and I can brick them, which means that I can
Shut
make
them
them
off.
essentially useless
Shut them off.
pieces of plastic until somebody brings them back. So, but all of the guidelines for how we circulate those and, such were provided by the state, because it is a state grant, so.
So if someone doesn't return them, that's how the process, we go to getting them back or whatever, there's a process?
I go to the state and say one did not come back, and that's, they have their process, I understand. I follow the instructions as given to me when I was handed these devices.
So
I
far,
know.
so good, though.
Yeah, no, we
Yeah,
haven't
that's
had,
good.
we've had one person who was extremely apologetic that she brought it back an entire day late. And then, you know, we made sure all the pieces were there, checked it, and probably checked it back out to her, so. But yeah, no, we haven't had any problems with them.
And I know we talked about some broken links on the website.
As far as I know, those should all be functional. I talked to Heritage Quest and used the, link that they sent me, so.
You know, what's interesting, it says if you don't know your username and password to click here. It gives you some kind of HTML stuff that if. I have no
I'll
idea
have
what
to,
it's
I'll have to
supposed
let,
be, but-
Heritage Quest know, cause that's, I mean, they give me the link that,
Yeah.
that it's supposed to go to.
Well, did you
so.
try it?
Oh, yeah, I clicked on all of them, and it was fine for me, but I was doing it from inside the library,
Yeah.
so that makes a difference.
I'm still working on my list, so.
Okay. In accordance with the fiscal year 22 action plan, adding 4 titles per quarter to the Polish language collection, and meet with the large print vendor to determine options for increasing standing orders.
So I met with the large print folks, and we have upped one of our plans, slightly. And
What does
have
that mean?
So we get standing orders, which
Yep.
means that monthly we receive a certain number of titles.
Yep.
In certain genres, and I have increased, the number of titles that we get in the popular fiction, which is, of course, what goes out the most. And she also sends me monthly a spreadsheet with what titles have come out, and then what titles we receive in our standing order plan.
Yep.
So that if necessary, I can add some, if there's some authors that aren't included in that. And for the Polish collection, we have added more than 4 titles. However, they have to be cataloged by CW Mars, and there is a cataloging backlog at the moment. So we are waiting. I have a stack in my office that we are waiting for them to add the records so that we
Wow.
can put them in the database.
It's amazing that how many, that's not just us that holding
No,
up.
it's, well, and that's
like-
part of it, is that there's 141 or 142 libraries in the
Right.
consortium, and everybody's throwing all these records, and
Uh-huh.
not only do they have to get all of, like, the new James Patterson book done,
Right.
but then all of us with the little things that nobody else
right.
has. So obviously, which makes sense and is only fair,
You're at the-
you start with the one that all
Popular.
140 some
Right.
libraries have, and then, and Polish is not a language that necessarily the catalogers have, so, but
It
so
doesn't
we.
seem like they have a lot of foreign languages. I was trying to find a very popular book in Spanish on CW Mars, and they had it in English 1,000 times, and I was like,
Yeah, CW Mars,
surprised.
and it's up to the, it's what the libraries purchase. And there don't seem to be a lot of, because I read Spanish, and so there aren't a lot of
Right.
Spanish language
I'm
books.
surprised in the cities you don't have more Spanish
Um,
requests.
for-
I would
for
imagine
whatever
that in
reason-
Massachusetts,
Yeah.
you would be able
I'm
to
sure
find it.
Boston has an enormous Spanish language collection, but they're not in our consortium, so.
Oh,
But we can request it for you via Comcat if there is something that you want, and it is not in our consortium.
I don't know how to do that, but
You
yes,
come in
I
and you
want.
talk to me, and I will make it happen. This is how you do
Alright.
that.
Sounds good.
how many are beyond our consortium? I thought we
There
were
are
statewide
300,
now.
no, there are 369 public libraries in the state of Massachusetts. And we have 140, I believe it's 142, not all of which are public.
Oh,
So there are a lot of libraries that are not in our consortium.
So I wonder, well, for our Polish books, they would just come in, right? Because we have a lot of Polish people in Dudley. They would
Yeah.
come in, they'd know where to find them. But if you're trying to search for it, it doesn't seem like they're searching in other languages works. Because I was like searching for like in Spanish books, and it brought up all English. So I wonder if there's an issue.
Yeah, no,
Would be
there
beyond
are
this
tricks to doing it. If you do the advanced search option, you can select what language. You can do a drop-down menu
That's
for
what it did.
but whether it's actually in the collection or not, who knows?
Yeah, hard to.
But yeah, we actually, there's quite a steady traffic in the Polish collection going out to other libraries.
That's nice
In
to
the
hear.
pull list, we
Cool.
fairly steadily, and sometimes I'm like, really, somebody wants to read this, and out it goes.
Do we
Um,
have other languages?
No.
Or only English,
We have
sorry,
Polish.
Mainly English and Polish.
Yep.
Yeah.
So at this point, we are on target to meet all of our objectives by June 30th.
Yep.
Going forward, director's report.
So programs, you have the list in my report of the upcoming programs, and I think we've added a couple since I put that together. This week in particular is busy at the library because it's vacation week. We had 50-some participants in the slime making today. There was a lot of children and a lot of slime in the library. There were also, I think we had 12 or 14 for story time, which is about average. But so there's a whole bunch of stuff going on. There will be mini golf in the library tomorrow,
Oh,
for the little ones. So, that should be fun.
We'll be there.
I will not, I am out tomorrow, but it should be fun anyway. I was like, have fun, send me pictures. I told Lita that she could do a special, hole down the hallway by my office, but she's gonna try to keep them all in the children's department. But so yeah, we have a busy week, with all kinds of happenings for vacation week, and then we have a bunch of exciting stuff, coming up. And if you want to take part in the paint night, that's happening in March, I only have 5 spaces left, so sign up soon. We have 25 signed up as of today, so we're going to have to request the tables from Town Hall, fit everybody in. But that apparently is a very popular program, and we've also had a number of people calling, actually today, we had several people calling, asking about the sled dog program, which is for all ages.
You
So
don't have to sign up for that.
you do
right?
not have to sign up for that. It is all ages. There will be a dog.
I was just gonna, that was my next question.
She is bringing, I understand 2 of her dogs
Oh, wow.
are coming, along with the sled and all of the gear and everything, so she will actually demonstrate how the whole thing works.
But that doesn't mean we have to have snow for it, does it? I'm hoping not.
I mean, if we have enough
hoping
snow,
not.
if we have enough snow, she
I
might
want
give
it.
you a ride around the parking
Ah.
lot, but,
I'll pass on that.
but yeah, so we have a bunch of programs coming up, and, we're working, Lita and I have started talking about summer reading, so we're working on scheduling summer reading at the moment.
So the Wiggles and Giggles that
Mhm.
the Y has taken over,
Mhm.
or whatever, is there a registration cap for Wiggles and Giggles?
You would have to ask them. I believe it's 15
Yes.
families.
There is.
I was gonna say, I just went, oh,
Okay.
good, you're handling all of that. But I believe it's 15
Okay.
families.
Okay.
For
And what
that.
was it when the library was doing it? Was it 15?
I think it was 15.
Okay, all right.
I think that's what Lainey is comfortable
Yeah,
with,
that's
is
what
the
I figured.
15.
Okay.
Yeah, it's how many instruments she has for
So
The
the
kids.
kids can all
so all the
participate?
kids can have. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Could you tell us about our newest staff member?
Well, she is not a staff member yet.
Okay.
We have made an offer to Courtney Eckstrom, who is a sub at Sturbridge. She is in the process of doing the background check and the pre-employment physical and all of that stuff, so she will not be a library staff member until she has completed that, but we have made the offer.
And hopefully she'll be there soon.
We're hoping, if
Yeah.
everything checks out and the town, clears her paperwork and so on.
Okay. Any other questions about programs? Moving on to budget.
We are in good shape on the budget. We are where we should be. We're at the stage of the year where Lita and I are going, how much do we need to spend on materials?
Keep it moving,
Uh,
yeah.
But
Keep
we
it
are,
moving.
she's just ordered some more of the launch pads and the Wonder Books, which are very, very popular,
Yes.
and are bigger ticket items, so.
Good.
Question on budget. So not our budget specifically, but the Massachusetts Library Trustees group had just sent out an email that some libraries are having issues spending the money because there's a backlog of getting items. Well, that doesn't.
That hasn't
We're
affected
fine,
us, no. It depends on which vendors you use, and we have not had that problem, so.
Yeah, you hadn't mentioned anything, so I
No,
figured we were in
no,
the,
we're
in the
fine.
clear there.
I mean, it's taking an extra couple of days to get our orders from Baker and Taylor, but it's not like we're not seeing them for months, so, no.
Scholastic was months and.
Yeah, I think it's Scholastic, and then I understand that some of the libraries that, purchase through Ingram have had some difficulties, but we stick with Baker and Taylor and Amazon for most of our stuff, so. And then, some of the smaller vendors, which we haven't had an issue with, like Sebco or Penworthy, so
Great.
we've been fine.
Any more questions on the budget? Facility.
So the big thing I have for you, if you would take one and pass it around, is, we had the bid opening for the, digital sign, last, whatever day it was last week, I don't know, it seems like a really long time ago. So you have each of the bids here except for the one that was, disqualified because they did not follow the bid instructions, and did not include the required paperwork. But it gives you, I gave you a breakdown of each one, the cost, and then my recommendation, but they are all in here. So I'll let you look those over.
On the RFQ from, it's hard to kind of understand, I guess it's one of Graphics Unlimited 2, the one you recommend. Says here that the bid price with 1-year service warranty is $31,471. It says here 5-year warranty.
Yes, that's 1-year service warranty and 5-year universal parts warranty.
Okay.
So is it a yearly thing that you pay for a yearly thing, the service fee?
No, you call them up and say, hi, I need service, and you, after the first year, you would pay on an
Oh,
as needed, but
okay.
the parts would be covered, which is the
For
expensive
5
part.
years.
Having had to buy a couple of the big power packs that cost like $2,000, that would be the,
And when did they have to have this in by?
the bids were submitted on February 15th, I believe, was that afternoon was the date.
It's hard to compare all of this in just such a short period of time. I guess
Yeah.
I wish you had mailed these all to us so we could have reviewed them.
I mean, I would have had to hard copy mail them, and there would have been no guarantee you'd get them. But, I mean, essentially, as I say on the cover, you've got 2 that don't meet all of the criteria set forth in the RFP. We required a lifetime data plan, so that we didn't have to pay that, and we've got 2 that don't meet that. And then we have 2 that do meet that, one of which is $44,530.70, and one of which is $31,471.
Yeah, how much is a lifetime data plan? Or is it, could you buy like a yearly data plan?
I think you'd have to do the
The
yearly
yearly,
data plan.
yeah,
Yep, but I don't know what that runs for something like this.
yeah, or how you would even set it up, who you would buy it from.
Yeah,
So Marty, this is Marty's sign in Dudley. They're
Yes.
using it,
Yep.
7 years old, which is good.
which actually Marty's tells me that it's 9 years old, so I don't know which one. I'm not sure which one to believe, but, yes, so it's been up there, and apparently they have never had to call for service on that. That's what I was told, so.
Yeah, so we like
I like that they're local.
you would say that,
Yeah.
so here's the Graphics Unlimited.
Yeah, so
They're
Graphics
both
Unlimited,
within the same
they're
one,
both
right?
within the same one. He
Okay.
essentially gave me
Thing to do.
2.
So the second
um,
one is the Daktronics.
Yes, the Daktronics
Okay.
sign is the second one.
And that's the one that comes with lifetime Verizon 4G.
Yep. And Bob, the Daktronics dude, is local and can show up. I mean, he showed up to show me his signs, so.
Yeah, and if there's any issue, Bob will show up and Bob will have parts, cause the other issue with the
Yeah.
old one was like, we couldn't find the parts, we couldn't find
Yes,
someone
no,
to
and
service.
the parts are, and I asked who they would, like, did they have a local person that they would do service through, and he said that Graphics Unlimited, is one of their preferred service providers, so like for warranty stuff, that would be the local if it was something straightforward.
Right, cause that's our main issue,
Mhm.
right, that we had before that we wanna fix with this.
Yeah, we couldn't get anyone to actually show up and tell me what was wrong with it and fix it, and it just kept falling apart, so, yeah.
So
Do we
who's
know
the
how-
bidder, Bob or Joel?
Joel is the bidder,
Okay,
because Bob works for
Bob work?
Daktronics.
okay,
Joel, we would be buying the sign through, the distributor is
Joel.
Graphics Unlimited.
okay.
So we'd be buying from Graphics Unlimited,
And he
The-
did the original,
yes.
yeah. Joel
Um,
did the original.
And he did tell me that he had,
Like it's paid twice for one side.
Yeah.
he has told me that, he had at the time thought that the company that manufactured our existing sign was a good choice, and he was like, I haven't worked with them in years because we have so many problems with them.
So how long have we had that sign for?
6 years.
How
And
many,
And
uh,
how long has
Do they
Bob
do
and
it?
Joel
5
worked
years.
together? I mean, are we going down the same rabbit hole
I-
just a
oh,
couple years
I know,
later?
I know.
Well, I mean, we can
thought.
also, like, I dealt with Bob first. I
Okay.
spoke to Bob, the Daktronics guy, first.
Was
Like,
he
I
the one
asked-
that came with it in the truck?
He was the one that came with it on the truck, and then I
Mhm.
said, who locally is you, like, would your preferred distributor be? And he said, he named Graphics Unlimited as
Okay.
their local guy.
Uh-huh.
But like training and all of that kind of stuff would be done by Bob. And his sign truck, I assume.
Why, why did you pick Bob and his sign truck?
They are the ones that provide the lifetime data plan. They have the, they have the functionality that we need. They, among other things, can set it up so that like anytime one of the, alerts goes out from the town of Dudley, the rave alerts,
Yep.
it'll automatically show up on the sign.
So he's the guy that you would be working with.
Yes, so Joel is who we would buy it from, but the guy representing the company that manufactures it and the guy that does the training and everything
And in
Is
charge
Bob.
of the warranty
is Bob,
is Bob.
yes.
And so above and beyond the 31,000 plus, are we hooked into complete clean and detail
I do not
installation
feel that we need it
1,000?
completely cleaned. I don't think it's been cleaned and detailed since we bought it. So,
But that's not part of the contract?
I mean, it's not,
It's added, it's
it's
an
an
add-on if we
added
wish.
cost, so.
And then another $650 to do it annually?
Yeah, no, I don't feel that we need to have it done annually. That's my
They
own
have, like,
personal.
had it done?
No, we've never.
But
had
if
it
you
done.
don't do something annually, do they hold that like, oh,
No,
then
no,
you
this is
ruined
the,
a warranty?
this is the
Voided
scrubbing, the cleaning of the exterior frame monument piece. This is not a service thing, this is let's make it look, clean and shiny.
Okay.
Which, as far as I'm concerned, looks pretty good as it is, so.
It's just fine, it's been 6 years.
I think we're okay.
I mean, unless, it's the fine tuning and like fixing any parts
Yeah,
that might be
no,
wrong,
the only
but that comes
thing,
with warranty,
the only
right?
thing that has to be done annually, but that would have to be done on any of them, is there's like a filter check that has to be done, but I mean, you do that with any, like, we have the HVAC annual maintenance come in and, any large
Right.
piece of equipment, same as we have CW Mars do our desktop computers in the library. I'm not gonna just not have the annual maintenance done.
Right.
Is that annual maintenance part of this 31 figure, or is that above?
That is above and beyond, yeah. Yeah, this is just for buying the sign and installing it and taking the old one away.
Do we know
So
what
what is the-
annual's gonna be?
Yeah, what's the annual?
I have no idea, but, I mean, it would be the
Do we
same for.
currently have one?
No, because they're in Florida.
We probably should have.
Yes.
Yeah.
That
That might have
is,
helped.
that is another reason for wanting a local representative.
I have a question, between the Cirrus and the Daktronics, there's 18,432 pixels with the Cirrus, as opposed to 12,960. Does that make it much clearer looking
It
because
really,
more pixels?
it really doesn't. So Bob came out and so did the Cirrus guy, actually. The Cirrus guy was kinda cool. He had what looked like a van and then the stuff all came out of it and whatever. And they did the different, like resolutions and pixel counts, so you could walk around and see. And if we had a sign that's up as high as like Marty's is, it might make more of a difference. And it also, it makes a difference if you're really far away and if you're really, really close. But if you're driving by it like ours, when we stood, 5 spaces down the parking lot from it, you couldn't tell the difference.
I've never had a problem reading Marty.
Yeah, no, Marty's was,
Hi.
Joanne. Yeah, Marty's is pretty clear up there on its, Marty's is pretty good up there on its, very tall thing. But I also liked the fact that, Marty's hasn't had to have any major work on theirs.
I like hearing that.
In however many year, 9 or 7, either way.
It beats us.
It beats
Seven
us.
is good, yeah.
But I liked that level of reliability, and Joel listed some of the other places that had Cirrus signs, but all of those are maybe 2 years old. They don't have nobody that I talked to with a Cirrus sign has had it for more than like 3.5 years. So that we just don't know
Right.
longevity-wise.
And what's the timing to install?
Oh,
Any
It
difference?
says here
No.
somewhere.
I thought I read
Immediate
somewhere that
delivery,
it was.
immediate on Cirrus, you can get it now, and you need to wait on Daktronics, 8 to 11 weeks production and 1 week delivery.
Okay, you read more than I do, okay.
I
So
mean,
we'll
would
be a
we like
little
more
different.
time to like read this and review, and maybe we can get more information on an annual? Like, I'm just wondering, like, having more information.
I just really hate,
I know,
Let's keep it
I
moving.
know.
we're into summer now.
I mean,
It's
Yeah.
it's gonna
Yeah.
take 10 weeks to get
Yeah,
here.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Really.
It is, but you're gonna
I-
make
I
a
think
choice,
this looks pretty clean.
I don't want any further discussions. I guess I really would like to know what the annual cost is gonna be. That's, you don't have an answer, and it's like, so, it's like, you know, it could be
What is our-
$1,000, it could
We
be
don't have that now.
3,500.
No, we didn't have an annual, service on the one there, and I feel like that might have solved some of the problems if we were with a company that was an option.
Yeah.
But there again, if you don't have a local company that deals with them, then you don't have the ability
Right.
to get that done.
So we're certain that the 650 is not the, like, cleaning and detail
That
of
is,
the
that is
sign, it's
cleaning and
like the
detailing, that is
outside?
just the
That's it.
outside.
Pretty
The
nice.
outside.
That's making
We
the
could ask
outside
for a
pretty.
biannual or something like that, doesn't need to be
I
annual.
can stand out there with a hose.
Yeah, no, I
This
just wanted to
is-
make sure that, like,
I
they didn't
power wash
have-
the rock, I can power wash a sign.
Right.
Yeah, I think we need to move as quickly as we can. It looks
Yeah.
ghastly, just empty.
Yeah.
It's really sad.
Yeah.
It is sad, and
We need a
I do want a
tractor.
really nice sign,
Yeah.
I would like answers before we order something blindly, that's all. So, that's my,
So it's being tabled again?
Well, I
for
guess
another 4
I
weeks?
think,
the question.
I know,
So we
I
just
wish we
want-
had that answer tonight.
So we just want an answer of how much it costs annually. But do you actually have any interest in any of the other ones? Or is that really just our only decent option either way?
I think that's the one that Drusilla likes.
I mean,
She
I would
really-
say
It has
either,
all the bells and whistles.
either of
Yeah,
the
and it's
two
10
from Graphics Unlimited.
$13,000 less than the other
See,
one
no,
will all.
The other, Graphics Unlimited, the number one.
Yeah, it does
Cirrus-
not include the data plan, so it doesn't technically meet all of the criteria, cause the RFP had required the lifetime data plan.
Yeah. Well, and I think the bigger issue there is we don't know that that sign will last, right? In
Yeah, I
It's the
mean,
one-
I-
in addition to
it's
the
the one
data
out
plan.
here, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah,
Oh, the one is here as well as.
yeah, they have a Cirrus out front.
A Cirrus, though, like, not the Daktronics.
Not the Daktronics,
Right.
Marty is
Right.
Marty's is the
He has
local
the
Daktronics.
So this is the town hall.
Town Hall has Cirrus, and so does,
And I've seen the town hall just recently has had issues with like their pixels and
Mhm.
stuff. So,
And
I
where's
think I
Bob
think they've had
located?
some issues.
he is in
I wonder if the more pixels, the more
Massachusetts,
pixels.
but not this part of Massachusetts, cause when he came, he was it took him like an hour and a half to get.
Okay, I just, it's
He
better
and
than
his,
Florida.
he and his truck
Yeah.
with the big signs on the back, which was kinda fun.
I'm
So-
not a techie, but
5G.
lifetime 4G cell plan, is that gonna be outdated?
No, I
Before it gets
mean,
installed.
That's what I'm gonna say.
no,
It's a
4G,
board.
4G
Okay, I don't
is
know,
fine.
just me, I don't know, that's why I'm
No,
asking, I
4G,
don't know.
4G is fine.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah,
thank
it's
you.
fine.
Here, yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
Okay,
I think
thank you.
I
we're
don't
good
even know
with- in
4G
Dudley, we don't
have-
get much 5G.
I was just say, I don't think we have.
I don't think you've got an
No.
option for 5G in Dudley,
No.
at least not yet, so.
Well,
Also,
our-
like,
our phones
what does
have
the
it
sign need
for the-
5G
for
for?
the-
They have the capability.
Yeah, we
Line.
just
Yeah,
need
but
to be
the
able
tower
to
doesn't have
upload
the
something.
tower.
The service, but.
Hey,
capability.
Show
even
my
with these, we can upload
knowledge of tech.
graphics too, but, you know, yeah,
So the diversified design is 13 grand more than
Yeah.
Graphics Unlimited 2.
yeah.
Doesn't seem to be 13 grand better, in my opinion, like 50% more. I mean,
Yeah,
can we
no,
knock
it-
that
it
off? We don't
did-
want that one, right?
It did not seem like it was that much better either,
Yeah.
to me.
And then Metro sign awning costs more than our Graphics Unlimited number 2 option, but doesn't have data. So we could probably knock that one off.
Well, basically, Metro Sign and Graphics One, they don't have
They
the
don't have
data plan,
data.
that was what was requested from the
Right.
RFP, so.
So really, it's just kind of down to diversified design or Graphics Unlimited 2.
Mm-hmm.
And diversified design seems to be more or less the same thing for 13 grand more, unless I'm missing something.
I could make a motion that we go with graphics as long as the annual isn't more than $1,000, cause the sign's not gonna last 13 years. You know, I mean, and then we could just keep this moving, cause I mean, it is, I mean, I hope it's a lot
If
less than that, it better be a
Yeah,
lot
it
less than
wouldn't-
that.
so,
it
yeah.
didn't sound like it
But I mean,
required that much.
but with the
but-
price difference,
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
we should keep moving.
Yeah, I agree, because I don't see us getting one of the other 3 options,
Right. Yeah.
right?
Before you say yes, kindly ask that question
Yeah,
and get back to all of
what-
us,
yeah.
please.
What's the,
But I
what's
will
the
make
cost
the
for that?
motion that we go with graphics too, and
With the caveat.
With
that-
With the caveat, can't be
that
more
we
than
get the
1,000.
annual price.
Yeah.
Right.
It'd
Second.
be less than,
Less than
Less than
$1,000.
$1,000.
Seems reasonable.
Some caveat that
All
we-
in favor?
Oh, I'm not gonna be.
Aye.
Hi.
Aye.
And Joanne has joined us from MLA. Good evening.
Hello.
Sorry you had to
Good
deal
evening,
with
good evening.
traffic.
In the rain.
Yeah, that
I was gonna say,
doesn't
I'm sure
help.
as soon as it started raining,
so
everybody's
foggy,
like, oh.
yeah.
Yeah.
The fog.
Yeah. And the fog.
Yeah.
Yeah. So thanks.
You have the floor.
Okay, great. Thank you. So, we brought a packet. Some things. So there's like an agenda and then, presentation. So, tonight I thought, I'd update you on where we're at, on the project. And we're at the 50% mark of, the design development phase. So previously you approved the conceptual plan and the budget. And so what we've been doing is, starting to, look even, more deeply into the project, and understanding, the proposed grading, thinking about details more, honing in on the exact, materials and products, and, putting together, the package that will ultimately be bid out to the contractors. And, let's see. Okay, so this is generally, this is like the last colored plan that you had seen. The sidewalk, the steps, the crosswalks, from the library building across the parking lot, with a sloped ramp, which would be, it's not a ramp, it's actually a sloped path. It doesn't need to have green rails or anything, cause the slope isn't, it's less than 5%, that, is accessible. And then there are paths throughout the park, and with an open lawn space. This was to signify like a pergola, right? There was different seating, there's at the, front, there's gonna be, a picnic table and gardening boxes, seating in this corner, you get this very nice view of the park. We're gonna move the stones, that are in the circle now to more into the middle of the, space for storytelling and other, gatherings. So I think that's, basically what you, have seen. And I sent, an attachment with the actual 50% design development drawings, which are these. So they're not complete, we're still in process. And we still have a few more, we have about 4 more weeks to complete, this design development package. And since then, we've hired the structural engineer, so he's on board. And we've had a call with him, I had a call with him today as well. So I could talk a little bit more about that. Well, I guess we could talk about this. So, as part of the design development package, we start to assemble the drawings that we're gonna need for the bidding, package, which is at the end of construction documents. So one of the drawings is called Site Preparation and Demolition. That's this, so it indicates which trees are gonna come down, what needs to be saved, what else? like, it indicates like the stones that are supposed to be saved and will be relocated. And obviously, you know, one thing about the site is that there's existing rock outcroppings, especially right along the parking spaces here. There's the curb, and you can see sort of rocks. And so the structural engineer had some comments about that. He's also started to look at the reports that exist that were done for the library building. The soils report, he's going to get in touch with the geotechnical engineers for that project and see what information there is there about this, like ledge, any ledge, how far down it might be, and that really has a lot of impact on costs, especially ledge that we don't know about, right? So we can see that there's some ledge here. You know, it's assumed there's ledge in other places as well, but we don't know. He did suggest that we get some borings done. He didn't think that he thought it would cost like less than $2,000 in, you know, various places where we know that we are gonna need footings. So maybe along the wall or at the pergola once we even get a little bit further along, so that we'd be able to give the contractor a little bit more information. You know, oh, we know that there's 4 feet of soil before you hit rock here, or, you know, it looks like there's only 6 inches before you hit ledge. And that way we'll get a better price from the contractor, because when a contractor when there are unknowns, he usually just throws a very big number at it to cover themselves. By doing these borings, we'd have a better sense of what's out there, and the contractor would have a better sense of what's out there. We'd have a better sense of how to design the details. The structural engineer has a better sense of what he's working with when they design the footings. So all in all, it seems like a good thing that we could look into doing. If the ground's frozen, we might not be able to do it right now, but it seems to be warming up. Who knows? Who knows what's going? Who knows what's going on? But
How many would we need?
I don't think I know for, you know, probably less than a dozen. Probably, you know, maybe back here for fence footings, just to get a sense what's going on back here. There's this pergola here. There aren't that many things that have footings, and probably, you know, a bunch up front. Yep. One other thought I had was, so this plan, we are proposing to have a sidewalk the entire length, right, from the parking. And this is about like where the ledge is. So
Is there already an existing sidewalk there or no?
No.
There's
No.
no sidewalk on that side.
Right. So, you know, one thought is, you know, we already know it's gonna be a problematic area. You know, to get rid of ledge, they have to like chisel it
Blast
away or
it.
jackhammer it, or until you get down far enough to, you know, pour your, you know, 4-inch thick concrete and have a base underneath that, right? So, you know, I thought, you know, one idea is it's possible to maybe not have the sidewalk, just, you know, have sidewalk in front of the steps and have, you know, a walk at the bottom of the accessible path. And
Is it-
it certainly would save you money.
Right. Is it possible to just bump the sidewalk into the parking spaces and draw the parking spaces out a little farther? Do we have enough space to do that in the parking lot?
No, because that's a 2-way traffic area,
Okay.
and we're required by the state to have however many parking spaces per square foot, so I don't wanna get into taking away too many of them.
Oh, I wouldn't take away parking spaces,
eliminating
but I'm
We're
just saying
already
if we,
eliminating
eliminating several.
Yeah,
if we
so-
were I was asking if we had enough space in between the parking spaces to just bump them out
Yeah,
the
no,
2
'cause
feet.
it's a two-way
So no.
traffic
Yeah.
area, so I think it has to be the certain width.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so parking spaces, generally, I didn't look into the Dudley zoning for what your parking space requirements are,
It's not
size-wise.
the town, that's MBLA, isn't it?
Yeah,
No, it's the building
state-
program.
the
Yeah.
state building program has requirements.
I see.
So,
Uh-huh,
if you're getting state money to build your library, you
uh-huh,
have to meet certain criteria.
okay.
And I hear it is now pouring outside.
Slash
So,
hailing?
I don't know, I guess I personally would want a sidewalk to go the
Yeah.
whole way,
Mhm.
but that's just me.
Yeah, I mean,
Only because when people come out and they're like, oh, we went out the wrong way, we wanted to cross over there.
Well, and I look at parents with children and giving
Yeah.
the children someplace safe to stand.
No.
Let's put them up on the sidewalk.
Mhm. Yeah, I mean, you can think about it too, you know, it's not gonna happen tomorrow, right, so.
I think we're
Yeah.
pouring concrete tomorrow.
No, right.
You know,
To come
but,
back to your point though, we could make that from the corner of the library, one way, going right back around the building. You do not come back out. I mean, you can do it
It's a
in front of the
one-way.
building, you can go,
Yeah.
but if you're gonna go that side, you've gotta go out the back of the room, and we just
Mhm.
arrow it, so
Yeah, it's
we
not
could do maybe what
complicated.
you're talking about, pull it in a little and make it a one-way, that side of the building, you're going out the
Right.
back side.
Cause we have the drive coming one way.
Yeah, that driveway comes in one way, and it just kinda, that whole side of the building would be,
Can you come in the back way?
no,
No.
that's a
That is
one-way,
out
it's an only
I think
exit.
theoretically the whole thing is one way, right? 'Cause you like
Pretty
come
much,
up.
it kinda flows.
Whenever I come
Well,
in the other
except-
way, I feel really
except off of
uncomfortable.
Brandon Road. Brandon
Brandon
Road
Road's
is two-way.
two-way.
Yeah.
Brandon Road is two-way.
In theory.
In theory, I
Yeah.
feel like it should be, right?
Yeah,
So
no.
that's a good idea. I like
Yeah,
that.
I mean, cause I like your idea, I mean, if we can just make it that way and bump it out that 5 feet to give yourself a sidewalk without dealing with ledge.
But would we still be able to have two cars backing from both, the
Yes.
parking there and
Right.
moving those cars? What's the legal limit
Yeah,
on
Right.
I'm not
having
sure
a
what
car
the-
back
The
out?
legal.
We'd have to check it, but I think we
Yeah.
would, because there is a lot of space there.
I think, yes, you can do 2 cars going side by
Have
side.
you
can-
seen some of our driveways?
Well, that's,
We won't
that's
get
their
into that.
problem.
But they could have all the
Yeah.
space in the
My
world,
cell
right?
phone posted when I'm backing out at night on Thursday night, I'm like, I can't see anything.
Well, hopefully no one's backing into you while you're backing out on Thursday
it
night.
does look like
It's
there
me
is some
backing
extra
into
space.
someone else.
Yeah, so that's,
I guess that's something
That's
to
a
look
Look
into.
at it, to look
yeah,
at.
so,
It's a nice
definitely
option
look
that
at that,
you,
yep.
that way.
So when you're talking about one way, which way, sorry, this way?
That way.
Yeah.
So the drive behind the building is out only,
Right.
so.
Yeah.
That already is out only, the backside of
Oh.
the building.
Uh-huh,
Not that
okay,
anybody except me ever goes that way.
I
okay.
do, that's mine.
I
That's
do
mine.
every night and make sure the building's still standing. right there.
Exactly, that's what I do too, go check out the other side of the
Everything
building.
up there, okay.
Okay. Okay, so that's great.
So are you
I'll look
looking
into
for
that.
us to approve to have
No.
borings done?
Oh, well, I'd probably get more information for you before
Okay.
you approve that. I
Yep.
can, but if you can just decide, yes, that's a
Yep.
good direction, then I can look
I
into
mean, I
that.
feel like it would be good
I
to
think
know.
we need
Mhm.
to.
Yeah.
Yeah, we
It's
gotta
just
deal
not
with
that
knowledge.
spot, there's more spots than
Yeah,
that.
Yeah.
we
Yeah.
gotta deal with knowledge.
Right, it definitely will, help the contractor's bids, because
Yep.
if you
Yeah.
say, well, I mean, they'll see that there is ledge, and
Yep.
so they generally do throw a very big number at it. And our structural engineer also, suggested that, when we do our drawings, that we have, a couple of different details, so they know what to do when they hit ledge, at certain depths. If you hit it here, this is what you do, if you hit it here. So we'll have that in the drawings as well. So just to recap, I guess, this is concrete, the walkway, the steps are granite. I have some pictures in here of granite slab steps, which is what I'm suggesting. And then all the paths are stabilized stone dust. All the green is planting, and, all the lime green is turf. Also, I wasn't 100% sure.
The lime green is what?
Lawn, sod.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, yeah.
I thought she said turf.
I
And
did
I'm
say
like,
turf.
turf?
I say turf a lot.
Okay.
We work with turf
Just
a
wanted
lot.
to clarify.
Yes, it's sod. So I don't know, but, you know, Drusilla and myself, Amy, had met the arborists way back in the fall. And so, and their determination was, they gave us the information for free, they just came and they
Walked around
talked to
telling
us.
what trees were dead, you know.
Yeah.
Which was nice.
They looked at all the trees, and so there were two arborists, two different groups, but it was like general consensus that basically mostly like all the trees should come down. They're either in poor health, they have like, they're growing with like two trunks, that's not good, you know, they could split. They're mostly all invasive Norway maples, which are considered an invasive tree now. Or they won't survive construction.
Yeah, the ones in the front
The ones
edge
in
won't
front.
survive, because the roots will be impacted.
Right, so.
So all the trees
By
are
the time,
going? Wow.
they were done, I didn't want to
Wow.
stand on that lot anymore, because they're like, well, that branch is gonna come down, and that one's gonna fall over, and I was like.
Yeah, so, and we're talking mostly about the big ones. There are, I think, two big ones that are in the middle that, and I think a
There was
couple
one
in the back.
there were a couple in the back that.
Yeah. But if you do go out there and you look up, suddenly it's like, oh yeah, that tree doesn't,
Yeah,
it's half dead.
Once they start pointing, you're like, oh yeah, okay.
I'm sure you would never want to go on a hike anywhere in the
You're
world
right, yeah.
with them, right?
Well, it's like my uncle, the retired tree surgeon, you don't wanna talk trees with him, cause
Yeah.
by the time you're done, you feel like one's gonna fall on your head any minute, so.
Then again, we live on a like very treed lot, and all the trees are between us and the pond. And I was like, "Oh, they're gonna go." And you have like these crazy like micro tornadoes. You're like, "That one's going." They never fall.
Yes, but with our luck, or with my luck, one will fall on a small child.
When you want them to fall, they don't fall. When you don't want them to fall, they fall, right?
Yep, so
Okay.
those are the trees that were surveyed. I think there were, I'm trying to remember what diameter 6 inches?
Several of them were fairly small, that need to come down.
Yeah.
You know,
But that doesn't necessarily mean that everything has to come down, because even small things are useful, right, because they're already there. So, at some point, we'll go back out and take a look for the really small stuff. But most of the site has to get regraded anyway, so it feels a little bit like a shock,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But we will plant it, and we'll plant it with native, fast-growing, durable plant materials. Although on the side, those evergreen arborvitaes,
Yeah.
they're in great condition. So
Well, it's kind of created a natural fence.
Yes.
It does,
Yeah.
right.
Those are in great shape.
Right. So there's no
Okay.
fence
No.
Right.
proposed for that side,
Right,
because
exactly.
it blocks it. So
Yeah.
and they're in
Perfect.
good shape. So those will
Woohoo, something
stay.
works out.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Something works out.
Right, so I just wanted to say that. I didn't know if you knew that or not, about the arborist's opinion. Okay, so that's that. Let's see, what's after this? Oh, okay. So one thing that we have started to do is look at the proposed grading. So that's looking at the existing topography from the survey, and really thinking about where exactly do we need a retaining wall, because the grades will have to be moved. I think originally, let's see, so we've indicated any place that was called out to be a retaining wall in yellow or blue. Okay, right, so any place that is yellow or blue, sorry, is it hard to see? I can move it up.
Do we have
Yes.
that?
You might not
We
have
don't have
that.
that.
Yeah, I don't know, here, I can move it up a little bit.
I will now do my best impression of the easel. Thank you.
So the yellow is what
All
we
the
were.
yellow, all the yellow and blue is
Yep.
where we had retaining wall.
Okay,
But when we looked at the grading,
yeah,
it looks like now the blue does not need to be a retaining wall, it can be a curb.
Oh, cool.
So that saves some money.
Yeah.
And it looks like the retaining wall only needs to be 2 feet high,
Uh-huh.
showing.
Yeah.
So basically, what we're building the slope wall in front of, sloped walk in front of the
Yeah.
wall,
Yeah.
but behind it, the earth is higher, right? So it has to hold back the
Yep.
earth, right? So this
Yep.
is low, we're coming up,
Mhm.
and then behind it, so.
Yep.
Yeah, true.
So the wall only needs to be 2 feet, all
Okay.
around. And let me think what else. So so that's one thing that we.
So in the back side, that
Yeah.
yellow is retaining wall?
Yeah, it is. So the path's at one level, then
Okay.
there's a wall that's gonna be about 2 feet high, then behind it, the earth is.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, cause it does.
It kind of keeps them on the path.
So
Yeah.
there's not much existing slope or grade to the area, but just to keep it all accessible and
Yep.
within ADA and not have to put any ramps,
Yep.
right? We're keeping everything's under 5% slope, so that's why you have this little bit of a retaining wall in the back.
Okay.
We can kind of look at it even a little bit more and see if we can get the height of that wall down a little bit, 'cause
Oh, I think the wall will make a nice aesthetic.
And 2 feet's a good height for people to sit on.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
exactly.
That's a good point.
Kids will be jumping off of it.
That's
yeah.
They're already
true.
jumping off the
Right.
rock.
That's
from
right.
the
2
side.
feet, that's fine.
Yeah, 18 inches is even
That's
better for
nothing.
seating, so,
Yeah.
you know, we can get it down.
Yeah,
Yeah.
You know,
I like-
6 inches.
I like 2 feet, but that's my long legs.
You like Really? Wow.
That's my long legs.
Okay, well, you know, I'm on the shorter side, so,
Anywhere in between's probably good.
Yeah, we're fine.
okay, so, that's just something that we've, started to look at and, starting to think like, what's that wall gonna look like?
Yep.
This wall. So then if we go to, maybe we'll just review, so this is what was, what was sort of chosen, during conceptual
The
design.
swings.
So, and some of these things, so, let's see, all our curbing should be granite curbing. Talked about painting this
Sidewalk.
crosswalk,
Yeah.
maybe not on right. I'll go to the swings. So the 3 swings in the back,
Yeah.
they're like a plastic swing that will have probably wood posts to it. I'll just go down to the picnic table, so it's just a steel frame
Yeah.
and wood slats. The pergola really hasn't been designed yet, we don't really have something to show you yet on
Okay.
that. We talked a bit about the fences, but that's in your packet, so then maybe.
Are we still doing the stump seeds?
I don't know, that's a good question. Do we have that?
The stump seats? I
Hey,
thought-
you
I thought we went to
can-
rock.
I thought we nixed that.
Yeah,
I thought we were gonna
we
move
mixed
the
up.
rocks
We were gonna
over.
move the
Yeah, I
rocks.
The
think the
rocks are
stumps
moving
will
over.
kind of
The
apply.
600
Yeah.
stump a stump.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
good to know.
Yeah.
Although, if we're cutting down trees.
I know. Use some
I,
of those
I was
stumps,
told
right?
that we can't use those, cause I said we got a lot of stumps. But no, they're like fancy $600 stump,
Yeah,
No,
yes, yes.
but yeah,
something.
I think we talked about moving the rocks from the circle
Yes,
to,
removing those.
to that,
Okay, great.
since we have a circle of rocks. we just
Okay.
relocate it.
I think we're gonna look a little bit, more at, there's, this bench right at the front that was proposed to be like on a concrete block. I don't know, I guess if everybody loves that, that's fine. I just felt like there isn't that much concrete block, so I didn't know if, we might wanna consider a different type of seat there. I don't know, I guess this is actually the retaining wall with the wood seat
wood
behind
seat,
it,
yeah.
but,
So the swings are gonna be in the back,
yes.
and then we have that
Roller swings.
for seating. I'm just looking like how many areas
What's
are there
this-
for
what's this-
seating?
What's this seating?
So
That looks like that one,
Yeah.
that one.
Right.
Yeah, you're
I
right,
think it's the
you're
same
right.
type, but I think that there were, a lot of the seating was, the removable seating was, like not in the budget, sort of like a phase 2, in order to get the budget down, so, okay, I think these are called loungers, I think they're
Right,
like
we
phase
saw
2.
those, yeah.
Yep.
I think these were the rocking chairs, I think these are phase 2.
Yeah.
That, the center is where we were gonna put the stones.
Yep.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yep.
these are
Yes.
the stones, yep,
Yeah.
yep, so
You can
this
say
probably
goodbye to
comes out.
stumps, yeah. Now, what did you say this seating was?
That is,
Is it in your, is it
Is
in
it
the
that
packet I
pa- is
saw?
it this one?
that's this one.
Yeah, that's, yeah.
So
It's a-
retaining wall with
right.
wood on top or fake wood on top?
It's real wood,
It's real wood. okay.
yeah.
We're being
I'm just saying,
environmentally-
should
being
we match that?
environmentally friendly
Right.
Just-
here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, to
Just-
me,
Right.
if there are
Just
elements
match
That
that.
would make sense.
Match that.
Right
Yeah.
now, it's
Just
not
match
really,
that one.
it's not exactly matching, so, but
Yeah.
that's what we're in, that's what the phase we're in right now, right? Like, getting it exact.
I like the idea to have it matching.
Okay, so we can
Yeah.
show you what we think
Yep.
would look good for those two things next time. I would have to like double check if, I guess this one probably is still in, I think it was all the removable furniture
Yeah,
that
I think
came
it was
out
all the
is
stuff that
it is.
was-
What is the orange 4 seats, right?
This?
Yeah, what is that?
Yeah, I think those were, I already took them out of the pictures, I think they were like Adirondack chairs.
Mhm.
Oh,
But-
really? I don't remember that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they were kind of that, they weren't
okay.
necessarily Adirondack, but they were that, kind of close to that style.
Oh, okay.
Right, and I think because they were
Okay.
movable,
Yep.
thought that that could be
Yep.
used too. I forget what that is.
Are those more swings?
Yeah, I think they were.
Those are more
Oh, they're the
swings.
same thing, yeah, but I
Yeah.
think they might have come out, I think
Yeah, I
those
think
got
we
three.
started with the first three and said
Yeah.
that the next ones would be.
Maybe this is more of a conversation once we've figured out how much money we're spending to like remove the ledge and whatnot, if we can afford some Adirondack chairs.
We're gonna have
No.
story
Well, that's
time.
phase 2. It's phase 2.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm just,
Story time activity, dynamite the rock ledge.
sounds great. My kid would be like, I got my hard hat.
Do you know how many teenagers we would get for that
So
program?
many.
Yeah, so definitely, at the end of this phase, like in 4 weeks, we'll do another cost estimate and see where we are.
Yeah.
And ultimately, like when we do the final package, we can always put those things in, and if there is extra money, you know, they're called alternates, right? And so the contractor will give us exact prices for, oh, this is worth this much, this is worth this much. If you have any money or any desire to put any of those things back,
Right.
it's easy to do. So we'll make sure that we keep it all in, but get a bid that
Yep.
will fit.
Sounds
into the
good.
budget. Okay, so, let's see. So in this packet, we just wanted to show you, or show you,
Okay. Sorry. Cracked an elbow and I straightened my arm out.
because I know during conceptual design, we kind of saw a lot of different images, and so we want to sort of narrow down with you, you know, what things are gonna look like. So in terms of the granite steps, you know, we're envisioning the, you know, slab steps of 1 piece of granite.
Yep.
The plan calls for curved steps, which is gonna be more expensive. I was thinking, you know, maybe we could straighten it out. And you still have the curve on the sides, right, but they would just be
Yeah, just be
straight,
straight across.
and that would be a lot less
Yep.
money.
It looks good.
And I think it'll fit, it'll be fine. We did think that maybe we wanna make the entrance a little wider. So instead of a single gate, maybe there's 2 gates, just to
It's
give it
Nicole's wrought iron fancy gates.
yeah. So.
Well, yeah, that allows for like two-way traffic with strollers and whatever, yeah.
And being an entrance, it seems like that would be more generous. Okay.
That yellow dot right there at the entrance?
That's
Is that
where
for
the
our sculpture?
Yes, that's where our
Okay.
sculpture goes, that we don't have yet.
Okay, yeah.
It's okay,
There
we don't
will
have
be
a
a
lot
sculpture
either.
there.
We don't have
We're-
any dimensions
We're
though or
ways
anything.
from having
It's-
anywhere to put it.
Yeah,
so-
no, we don't have anywhere to put it yet, so we're fine.
Okay.
Okay.
Just thinking of the girls. Keep them happy, departments.
Okay, so on the picture, in the left, it's, you know, granite steps.
Are you thinking that's those railings are to replace the retaining walls you were talking about earlier?
No, the railings, the steps need railings,
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
But that's what I'm saying, replacing the retaining walls you said we didn't need in blue?
Oh, I see, okay, you can think of it that way, yeah, sure.
I mean,
They-
isn't
Yeah,
that where
because
they were
they-
looking,
Oh,
yeah,
yes,
okay,
there would still
yeah.
be railings.
Yeah, yeah,
right.
no, they're replacing it.
So we could come back to you with like a design for the railings, I mean, they could just be sort of a simple steel pipe railing, we could design it a little bit more, it could, be a little bit more historic. I'm trying to think, I don't think you have any exterior stairs, railings.
No.
No, we're all one level, so.
Um, do you feel like it should have a historic sort of feel to it, or?
I don't know necessarily
I
if
mean,
it
I-
needs to. I'm not
I
sure
don't know
anyone
that
would
it-
realize it was a historic.
I don't know that it needs
Mm.
to, my personal feeling would be that, anything that was too modern looking would kind of clash with the architecture of the library building. But that said, there's some, their building isn't like dated to a specific time period, so
Mhm.
there's some room for.
And they're leading to this sculpture, so I keep them fairly simple, so we're
Mhm.
focusing on the sculpture, whatever she
Right,
does.
Yeah.
I'd
that's
keep
what
it
I'm
fairly
thinking
simple,
also,
because
kind
we
of
don't know what
simple,
that's gonna
the
be,
landscaping
so we don't
and-
want this to be too
Right.
much.
Yeah.
And who's doing
I like these.
Maddie Lord.
Maddie Lord, with the Crawford Grandma Crawford's house on top, she lives up there, she's an artist.
Okay.
Does she have a website?
She
Yeah.
does.
Yes.
Yeah.
Maddie Lord.
I think you were given all her info, weren't you?
Yeah, I think I sent it to, Amy, but
Okay.
Yeah.
L-O-R,
LORD,
okay, great.
Madeline.
I was wondering if they
Madeline.
Yeah,
have
Madeline.
anything that came out of the Stevens Linen building that could be used as a railing that was like historical that belonged there. You know, some kind of old,
Yeah.
big,
Yeah.
long,
I don't
that would be
know
kinda neat
that-
to
I must
incorporate
admit,
that.
Every time we
Having-
talk about something, I would say, what would fit from
Having
Stevens in
looked
this,
at,
and it's like.
having looked at a bunch of the pictures of Stevens living with Ed recently, I can't think of anything that would be,
Okay,
It was probably more industrial than anyway, really,
Yeah.
just whatever had to be there.
right.
yeah, it was
right.
very
Like
much
the-
like what they had to have. If you
Yeah.
look at the pictures of the interior, there's no, it's very, very functional.
Okay.
It's not
It was
intended in
metal.
any way to be
Yeah.
decorative, yeah.
Right.
I like this one, the ones with the steps and retaining wall, where it's like, it's
This one?
simple,
Which
but
one?
there's a little, the
Just a
second
little.
one,
Yeah, a little fancy.
All of
just
these
a
are-
little
yeah.
bit, like
All
this
of
is
these are
nice.
fairly simple, I mean,
Yeah.
anything
Yeah.
here is all,
Simple,
Yeah.
I don't don't
Classy.
think we
It's a little
want
pretty.
just
I
the
just
height.
want them to be
Bottom.
easily replaced if damaged.
Even the top left has a little.
Simple, classy,
curlicue
sturdy,
on the top
replaceable.
of
Yeah.
it.
I mean, if
Oh,
they're
yeah.
iron, I expect them to be there for a while,
Yeah.
unless somebody.
Please.
Well, I've
Yes.
expected a lot of things, and that's not necessarily the case.
Okay, all right, we'll look into that. And the second picture that says granite steps with sloping plant bed. So on the sides of the steps, it will be a sloping plant bed. And there's no need for a curved edge at the side of the steps, so it could look really similar to that second picture. Or you could choose to put a curved edge there.
Actually, I like the railing in that one with the curlicue at the
Uh-huh.
end and the top and the bottom.
yeah, that one's nice
Great,
too.
they're all-
Those are the railings we
Yeah.
had in my college campus, in case you wondered.
I think like
Recognize
something
those.
simple,
Okay,
Yeah.
that's great. Okay, so
I like the look of the flower bed.
Yeah, I like
Yeah,
those
it's kind of
flowers.
loose and gardeny and.
I think of kids hanging on a railing, spinning around, stepping on all those beautiful plants, but that's me.
That is why you get things that will spring back, like what I planted
Yeah,
in my
make them
yard.
tough,
that
yeah, they'll have to be tough, whatever it is.
The
Sounds
dogs
preferred.
trample over and the next day they're just fine.
Right, or we could plant very
But that might
hardy,
prevent kids from.
creeping
Yeah.
rosemary or something that
No.
smells really nice,
Poison
so
ivy.
when they do step on it. No, kidding, kidding.
I was gonna say, we're supposed to be welcoming here.
This is the-
If you want poison ivy, we don't need to do anything. It's already there,
Oh,
right?
yeah, it's
It
there.
happens naturally, yes.
It's
Yeah,
there.
ground cover here.
Okay, so now,
Kudzu, that's what we'll put in there.
we wanna move to the look of the stone wall, the retaining wall. So the picture on the bottom left, there is an existing stone wall,
Yeah.
you know, along
Along
the
the back,
driveway
yeah.
there.
Yeah,
It looks kind of mortared and unfortunately the picture isn't blown up enough to show you exactly what it looks like.
Nothing's wrong.
But, it's
Really?
like irregular stones, but
Yeah.
it's,
Yeah, they're not
Mhm.
regular blocks.
They're not regular
Yeah.
blocks.
So more like the bottom one on
Granite
this.
gray.
Right.
Yeah.
So, there's different types, you don't have to even choose these if you don't like these. I guess maybe it'd be good to just know a direction, I mean, if we're trying to kinda match this wall, that's
I
one
mean,
direction.
I would think matching what's already there makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
not too
To to the best of your ability, cause I think
Yeah.
it's gonna be very
It's gonna
hard to
be,
match that.
Yeah.
But
I
I
like the
think,
bottom one.
you know,
Pretty irregular,
Yep.
and
Yeah.
not a lot of I mean, I tried to do less cement than they did, if we can, I mean, we don't wanna see a ton of
Yeah.
cement, but irregular, New England wall.
Yeah,
Mhm.
this bottom one looks good.
Yeah.
There's
Right.
cement there, it's gonna hold the rocks in,
Exactly,
Yeah.
yeah.
but it doesn't look,
Mosaic,
you know,
yeah.
overly,
It's not a
Yeah.
bad
I like
thing.
the
Little
gray ledge
whimsical.
too.
Right. So, it would be a concrete wall that's faced with
Faced
the
with
stone.
the
doesn't look
Yeah.
like a wall, but it looks nice.
Yeah.
So then if a stone falls off, you just stick more cement on the back and go.
Great, okay.
More
Easily
story time activities.
fixed.
Yes, I like easily fixed.
You know?
More story time activities.
Okay, that's all great. So now to go to fencing, so along the residences, the houses,
Yeah.
it's called for a 6-foot-high wood privacy fence, which probably would be cedar, probably
Mhm.
board fence,
Yeah.
probably
Mhm.
looks sort of like that.
Yeah.
Yep.
I like that.
Let's go down to the bottom one. What was called for is, this is the 4-foot-high fence in the back of the site.
It looks a little barnyard to me. I don't know.
The bottom one?
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
what our garden has, something like
Right,
that,
yeah.
yeah.
It's
I
like
would
our
like
chicken
fence
yard
like that.
fence.
So this
I mean,
6-foot
I
privacy
love it in my
fence
garden.
is the back side
Like
if we're
black one,
facing
though.
it.
Yeah.
No, the
Uh,
privacy
No.
fence is on.
Privacy
Schofield
is
Ave.
It's on the front?
parallel to Schofield.
Oh,
Yeah,
Yeah.
cause that's where we're
Here.
right on their back,
Yeah,
yeah.
right.
So that's because of the people that live there.
okay,
Yeah.
because there's an empty lot.
There's an
Yeah.
empty lot.
Beyond
in the
us,
back.
and
Yeah.
then it's a
Right.
house,
Yeah.
It
okay.
actually looks like it's part of the property, the lot.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it's not,
Yeah.
yeah.
But it's not.
Right.
Okay, and there's no fence here,
Yep.
so
Yeah.
it's this fence that we're talking about.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But then
so-
we had also talked about fencing across the front as well.
We'll get there.
Okay,
Mhm.
Okay.
just wanna make sure
Let's
that's
get back, but we can go back and forth because, you know, they are related. So one thought was, if you look at the picture of, the other 4-foot-high fence, as another option, cause I feel like the bottom fence looks a little farm-ish, or whatever.
Not that it wouldn't go in with our community.
I mean, there are chickens next door, so the roosters like to talk to us every morning.
This fence in the middle picture,
Yep.
it's a mesh,
Yep.
the openings are like 2x4-ish.
Yep.
Mhm.
And it's pretty thin,
Yeah.
and so, you know, it's pretty transparent.
Yeah.
So
Well, I think we
that's-
talked about that kind of in the front, so that we would see
Yeah, but
into
I
the
kind
space.
of like the idea of having it in the back though, because that will mean the visual, when you're in our space, the visual will be that you
It'll
have the whole.
continue.
So
front
do it,
space.
do it
Which is
front
what it
and
does
back?
now, yeah.
I mean, I'm just thinking that this one would sort of disappear into the plantings
Yeah.
and you get the
Right.
sense that you are
Yeah.
a much bigger
Yep.
area.
Yeah, and I like the black that it matches, like the railings, like it's all kind of going to match.
Yeah, okay, great. Okay, so the next picture, the next sheet, so we did a little rendering of,
It looks so big.
With no houses behind it or next to it.
so this was done really quickly, I have to say, this is not like, don't take this as like, this is the final presentation and, you know,
Yeah.
you're gonna show the whole town this or anything like this, it's really more of a study.
Right.
So, you know, these are the steps, we straightened them out. The height of that first landing is not even 30 inches, I don't think, above the sidewalk,
Mhm.
just to give you a little, relative, portion. The stone wall that we drew is 2 feet high, which is like the minimum, for the retaining wall. And then we just put a fence on top of it,
Uh-huh.
and that fence is 2 feet as well, so that gives you a 4-foot high. You know what, I might be wrong about that. We didn't think, so it's 4 feet, this fence is to keep people out, right?
Right.
It's not really,
Or is it to keep people
Well,
from
it's also to
leaving?
keep small children
It's just to
contained,
Yeah.
but,
Yeah.
but we're not talking large people, we're talking
Right.
little.
Yeah.
4 feet on the inside, 2 feet on the, 4 feet on the outside, 2
Yeah,
feet on the
right.
inside,
Yeah, that's,
Right.
I mean,
so,
somewhat like that?
yes,
Yeah.
so we were thinking that it's 4 feet high because it's 4 feet high from the outside. You can't
think
get in.
the requirement is 36 inches if you're containing children.
So it would need to be
That's what I
36 from
got
the
from the
inside.
town when we moved story
Yeah.
time outside, was that the fencing that we put up had to be 36 inches.
I don't know where that would come from, like.
Maybe it's just the town.
But-
Well, that's something you need to get
Yeah.
information on.
Yeah.
Yep.
Exactly.
Okay.
I mean, there are railing height guidelines
Right.
or rules
Yep.
for different things, like a drop off wasn't
Exactly, and this
30 inches.
isn't,
This
this
that.
isn't the story time, this is the park.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, so it may be a
Well,
little
maybe just
different
make a
rules.
note and see,
Yeah,
like,
check it
double
out.
check.
Check it.
Yeah.
That's
We can
not-
check it,
Double
we
check
know
that.
it's not, it doesn't need to be guardrail height, cause the drop off isn't more than
Right.
30 inches.
Mhm.
It's not
Okay.
childcare, so you don't need
Mhm.
4
Yeah.
feet, it's, there isn't anything for park development, but, we can check it out.
Before you leave that, we need the 2 feet of rock for the elevation of the land, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, you can have the
behind it.
retaining wall.
Yes.
Yeah,
And is this fence sitting on top of that wall or inside the wall?
kinda inside, like the
It's
posts
inside
would
the wall.
get, it would
Okay.
all get constructed at the same time, so they would put the posts in the middle concrete wall,
Oh,
they'd
okay.
set the, and then they'd grout the stone on the concrete wall, and then they would finish the fencing. So, there's a choice here of, what that fence looks like, it doesn't have to look like this. Actually, I think you can get that other fence, in a
Fence.
2-foot high,
The black one
yeah.
or?
I just like the height of it and maybe the
Yeah, it looks like, I think it's the same height, it's just the angle.
Yes.
Looking
it's
at the
same
lady
height.
standing behind it.
Yeah, it's the same height, it's just a different view of it.
Yep.
And then you also could think, we could make the stone wall a little taller, we could make the fence part really, shorter. It could be sort of, rather than half and half, right,
Uh-huh.
it's sort of
Yeah.
half wall, half fence, it could be sort of 2/3 stone wall, then something kind of minimal at the top. So, obviously it's nothing, we just still need to explore and we'll bring you some more options. But just starting to get you thinking how this will feel.
Yeah, so I think for this, our big concern is like, does the fence need to be 2 feet or 4 feet, right? So we need to,
Interior.
Yeah, the interior.
The interior,
The
yeah.
height of interior,
Yeah, or if there, so we can find out if there are any requirements that kind of height, and we can also just do some different options.
Yeah.
This is a little deceiving.
We thought
The
that the taller
shadow
one might
making it look like
be
this is all
easier.
one grade, but
Yeah.
the ground is higher.
yeah, which is
This
strange,
isn't-
because here's, anyway.
Yeah,
It's
that's not
a
quite
rushed
right, yes, it's
compilation.
rough,
Yes.
Yeah, we got that too.
And the way we drew it as well, is that as the path goes up, the fence, they stay the same height off the ground, right?
Mhm.
So they're not like, this is not this
So-
line is not level, right?
So the wall is even with the ground farther back, and then, so here it would be higher.
Right. Missed that part.
Not getting that. Sorry.
Sorry.
Yeah, so the retaining wall doesn't stay level with the ground.
It's not,
Or the
It's
wall
horizontal,
here
it's
doesn't.
level, but the ground goes down.
no,
Oh,
it's not
okay.
horizontal, it slopes with the
It's-
ground.
It slopes with the
It's always
path.
2 feet high.
Gotcha,
Yeah.
Yeah, it's always 2 feet high,
okay.
yeah.
So
Okay.
what does that do to the far right end, looking at it?
I think
With-
we basically graded it, cause the land sort of goes down that way anyway,
Oh,
so we graded it so it's sort of the same condition, not the same condition on each side, but, so that you just need the 2 feet to hold back the earth on the other side.
We're just trying to make it not collapse.
that would be good.
Yes.
That would be good.
I like no landslides.
Yes, no
that would be
landslides.
good.
And,
All right.
we would plant this slope, so it has interest and maybe
Yep.
some small flowering, and trees and perennials and grasses. So I think that's basically where we're at.
Do we need to vote on RFPs for anything at this moment? I think so,
I think we
right?
do, yes.
Should we? That way you guys can work with them and we can continue
Sure.
moving forward.
So we will ask you to step out.
I am going to step out. Excuse myself, let me know when you're ready for me.
Sure. So what is the one thing you are waiting for us, what decision are you waiting for us to be made on the RFPs?
So if you've decided that you definitely want to have a civil engineer or not,
Yep.
should I go through that?
Sure.
Understanding that again?
Yep.
Okay. Okay, so a civil engineer, we put out RFPs for civil
Yep.
engineers. They would design the drainage
Yep.
for the site. And we got back, I think, 2 proposals that were about $20,000, which we felt was like way, way, way too much for this project. Okay, and then, okay, I'm just making sure.
No, because technically it's an open meeting, so the door has to be open, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And we felt that, given the site and the type of development we're doing, which basically almost all of so currently there's no drainage,
Yep.
right? There's no catch basins, it just percolates down into the ground. Basically, that's mostly what it's gonna do after we develop this, except for maybe right here, the concrete walk, and, which is pretty minimal. Right now, the site drains to the middle of the parking lot. All the water is sloped towards the middle of the parking lot, and there are catch basins there. And so we would grade the site so that all the water still does that. So it would be a combination of, well, pretty much what it does now. So if you don't have major problems now that you're trying to fix, we felt that that we could just go with what's there, how it works now. We've done that for other sites.
Yep.
It's not a very big site, and we're not
Right.
changing it that much.
Right.
But we're not engineers. We, I think suggest, like, if you have a town engineer, we could run that by.
Well, and we did,
Okay,
right? That was more or less
Town
what he said,
planner.
right? We
Yeah.
ran it by the town and they said,
They didn't give us much information at all.
they were kind of just like, whatever, do what you want to do, right?
I wanted more information, we didn't
Yeah.
really get much information.
uh-huh. Yeah, I mean, I can, say from other projects that we've done,
Yeah.
Similar,
To me, my personal feeling is it's a very small project,
Yeah,
Yeah.
and
absolutely.
I don't think,
And we
Yeah.
replace, I mean, as you
Yeah.
say, the only walkway, the ramp, what I wanna call a ramp.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Is the only thing that's gonna run water. You are going to have absorbent foliage and
Right.
Yeah.
grasses and
Yep.
plantings
And we're gonna
everywhere else.
want
and this
Right.
still all has to go be passed before the town. Like, the town has to approve everything
Yeah.
that we're doing.
So
This
you
isn't
mentioned,
just done, the town approves it,
right.
it's all permitted.
So you mentioned that if we didn't have a structural engineer, you guys would take that part on for a fee, right?
Oh, so that was the civil engineer.
As a civil engineer.
Right, so we did hire the structural.
Yeah, we
Okay.
approved,
Right.
we approved them.
So
Yes,
structural,
approved.
check.
Yes,
Civil, if
civil.
we don't want, how much
Right.
would you guys charge us to not have one?
Oh, that's a good,
Because I noticed
haven't
that.
thought about that. I'd say, less than, I don't know.
$20,000.
I mean,
No,
well,
let-
nothing's changing in your plan. I mean, you're not changing anything.
Right, we're
No.
not really changing anything.
I mean,
We might
and
do something.
We're not paying for expertise they don't have. We're just
Right.
accepting what they have.
Yes, yeah, I'm just saying the
Maybe
email said that they would charge
suggestions
us for not
that
having
cost
one,
Yeah.
so.
Yeah.
if needed, but.
right.
Right.
Yeah.
I guess, so we might, if there were, like, the retaining walls would probably need some drainage
Mhm.
to go through, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we would, if we had the civil, we probably would put those, give the civil those details to do. So we would work out those sort of details. It's pretty minor stuff.
It is minor.
Yeah.
It seems really minor.
It is
Yeah.
really minor.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not worth
Yeah.
worrying,
All right,
I
well,
really
if
don't
that's your
think it is.
recommendation, that, I feel good
Yeah.
with that. The town kinda said that,
Nice
Yep.
natural little site, looks not that exciting.
All
Okay.
right. So we can all
that's-
say we're good with moving forward with that one then? Is that,
Yeah.
do we vote on
MLA
that?
recommendation
Yes.
regarding the.
Okay,
Okay.
great. Okay, that's one. Then there was,
Electrical and plumbing, and electrical, to my knowledge, we did not get any response to our,
I think that's right.
No, we were talking about using someone local.
yeah.
Right, so you guys want lighting, so that's,
But is that something that we could do, like, design bid later on in the
yeah,
process?
so that's, could be called design build.
Okay.
So
Mhm.
basically, we would specify the light types and we would look through and
Yep.
make sure.
Mhm.
A lot of lighting reps will tell you like how far the light should be, they would tell us, right? We need
Yep.
this many lights. You don't have any issues really about like egress, like egress from a building needs a certain amount of light for your paths. You don't have any kind of issues like that.
Yep.
There's no requirements
Okay.
for any kind of lighting of this
Yeah.
space, it's just
Yep.
what you want. I think you might want some electrical outlets
Yeah.
by
Yes.
the pergola
Oh,
or
yeah, most
anyplace else.
definitely. Yep.
So basically, we would, indicate that and locations and the types of lighting, to be purchased on the drawings.
Yep.
And you call it design build, and the contractor is required, has to find someone who can supply
Meet those
those,
Yep.
install
specifications.
those.
Yep.
So that we could do that
Yeah.
at the time
At
of
the
building,
time,
sounds
yeah.
like
And
great.
Priscilla could do the
Perfect.
plan, just as if we were gonna stage a show.
Right. I'm
The
sure
same.
it's exactly the same.
Yes.
The wiring plots that I do that I have to be able to undo at the end.
So is that all that you need from us?
Yeah, you just need to
Okay.
decide that
And
that's,
can we
sounds
do
good.
the same thing with the irrigation?
same thing, yeah.
Okay.
So we do that as well, where we just say the site needs to be irrigated, drip
Yep.
irrigation.
And then we need to be able to get water from somewhere, so kids can wash their hands.
So does the irrigation come in later as well, the same with electrical, or is that something that, I know Pat had sent out the earlier irrigation, RFPs, is that something we should decide on now or later?
Same thing, it's the same, just like lighting.
Mm-hmm.
So if you decide, well, since we didn't have anybody giving us a proposal for irrigation.
We had two.
We had two.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, there were
Yeah.
about a $10,000 difference between them.
One of them
Yeah.
thought that the water was in the library, and one of them thought that the water was in the road. And neither of them seemed to be going to do any of the irrigation. They were both going to review
planning of it,
contractors.
yeah.
Yeah, they just did the planning.
Yeah.
I was reading through and I was like, so I'm gonna pay you $18,500,
Yeah.
and then someone else is
Yeah,
gonna
so
come
is that
install
something
that we
everything,
could
and,
say,
and
hey,
like.
Design build sounds good.
Design
Yes,
build
that's
sounds
design
good to
build.
me.
We
Sounds
needed
good.
that
Design
design
build,
build.
yeah.
And then we need
Pay
a
'em
faucet somewhere that kids
$9,000.
can wash their hands.
Yeah,
in.
that
One of
needs
them was
design build.
9,000, the other was
Right.
Yeah,
really
but both
about
of them were very
20,000.
much for just they weren't actually
Just
doing
for
it,
the-
they were telling us where
It's
they
just
were.
the design.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah,
Mm.
which I felt like we already kinda, isn't that what we've been doing with you for months? You know?
Right. Yeah, and then we would specify it as design build, we put specs in it that it all has to meet Commonwealth of Massachusetts, requirements and codes, and that would be all in the specifications, and then, the general contractor would find a subcontractor to install it and work all the details out.
Yeah,
At this
so as
stage,
long
I
as we're
believe
not
Kathy
voting.
can come
Yeah,
back.
Yeah.
we're not
Would you
voting
mind
on
getting
the.
that?
I don't think we're
civil.
doing a bid for, yeah, so
No.
she's good.
Right.
Sorry.
Just gonna leave her in the hallway. She's out there now. She
I just
works
wanted to
for
make sure we
one of
were
the
done
firms
with
that
that
we
part.
voted,
Yeah.
so
Okay.
that's why we had to exile her to the hallway.
Okay. Okay, irrigation.
So do we need a vote
Just-
from the board to
yes.
say that we're gonna do design build for plumbing and electrical?
I'll accept a motion.
Is that civil too, or
Oh,
No,
civil,
we're
we're
not.
just not doing.
We're not doing.
we're not doing
We're
that?
just, we're just not gonna have one
No.
of those.
Yeah. It seems like it's unnecessary.
It does.
From
We're
all of our-
uncivil, yeah.
So I will accept a motion.
Motion to move electrical and irrigation to design build status?
Second?
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
So I think you have all of your answers. That's good.
Do you wanna just add lighting? Sorry, I don't
Oh,
know if
sorry.
you said lighting.
Oh, well, we said electrical.
Well, electrical
Okay,
is the
fine.
lighting,
Okay,
so.
great, okay,
Alright.
perfect. Okay, well, that's all great.
you.
Let me think, is there anything else here? Oh, I can just, what about, and would you like us to pursue, looking into getting borings done?
Yeah, I think we wanted more information on that, correct?
Yeah,
So
you,
we'll get-
how many and
yeah.
cost.
Yeah.
How many borings are we gonna do?
So what we would probably do is, actually do a plan, of where
Yep.
we
Yeah.
should go.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we would probably do that, yeah, so definitely we could do that. So, and then we would find out who does these, and get a rough estimate of how much it might cost.
Sounds good.
Our structural engineer didn't think it was gonna cost any, more than $2,000.
Okay.
So, just to give you a
Yep.
ballpark, but we would double check on that. So, we'll go ahead and just look into that more.
Great.
Okay.
I see gate design down here.
Nicole wants her fancy schmancy fire
That's why I brought it up.
I mean,
probably
personally,
that
if,
comes later, right?
if we're gonna have
I
a
know.
sculpture sitting right there,
You do
we
it-
probably want something that's not gonna clash with the
Right.
sculpture.
Something just simple and classy that would match the
Railing.
railings,
Yeah.
sounds good to me. Yeah.
Okay, so when we come back, next time, we'll have, sort of wall and fence options,
Yep.
right? And gate.
Yep.
And I would think I'd like gates that open all the way 90 degrees and get locked open, so kids cannot
Yeah.
be swinging. They lock open
Well,
onto
and
something.
the same as our doors do. in
Exactly,
our
just
program.
something that
That's
they
good.
womp and stay that
Well,
way
then they
until
don't-
we let them
they
go
don't
back
then
together.
close them at night,
Swing
yeah.
back and hit,
Just that way.
a
But
wheelchair or
make it that way
something.
so they
They
open,
open
they
and
don't
latch.
just make it so
Yeah.
far and then we got these gates halfway through the.
Sounds good.
And then how about story walk panels? I've heard discussion
Oh,
there.
yeah, that's more Lida and I think.
Lita thing,
Lita,
yeah.
sorry.
Yeah.
Have we heard that from, I haven't heard anything.
Yeah, they're pretty expensive.
They're
I don't
very
have-
expensive.
I don't have the cost with me right now, but basically what you're getting from the company who does these is just the post and sign.
Uh-huh.
Then you have to have someone install it, you have to have cement footing, poured down so many feet
Uh-huh.
to put the sign in, so that's
Oh.
another expense, times 22 or 24.
Yeah.
It gets very
I
big.
can-
As
I
in,
can
as
take a
is,
post
as in
hole.
ledge, as in ledge?
Right, yeah, that,
Exactly.
yeah.
Yeah, so
Oh,
part of
yeah.
that then will depend on where the ledge is, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And how many?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
So
Yeah.
this is yet another like
24.
down
I
the
just
road
don't-
once we
Yeah.
have more
I mean,
information.
that's down the road.
Yep.
spaces.
Okay.
So 22 or 24, that's how many you want.
That's how many, that's the average number, Lita checked the average number of like book
Yeah.
pages.
Yep. Okay.
But
And-
yeah, I think it would depend on where, like where the ledge is to where we can sink
That's,
posts and so on.
that's fine, they'll
So-
work that out.
Yeah.
'Cause that kind of post doesn't need a huge.
It doesn't have to go down like 36 inches or whatever, it's just a small.
So I think, so you called Storywalk or you talked to them? Yes, I asked them for that. Okay. I think they.
And then did we hear anything from, Baypack?
No, they're not, can't do it.
They can't do it, okay.
And does Storywalk have two options, steel or wood? Do you guys know what you want? We haven't gotten that far.
Yeah, I mean, there are other ways to do it, because other libraries have done it.
Right.
otherwise.
Mhm.
So,
We,
Are
well, we
you-
have
are you-
some time
we've
to
got
look
time
into
to
that,
figure
yeah.
that out.
Are you, so are you interested in looking at other ways to do it? Cause I think if they do cost like $2,000 each or something.
yeah, I mean, I
Yeah.
would say other ways to do it are, the big thing is we have to be able to
$50,
change
Yep.
the
50,000?
things out.
Yep.
And it's an
There
ongoing
has to be
expense.
some way of
Making
keeping
sure
water
water
out.
doesn't get
Yeah.
in.
Oh, well, that
Because
probably
water-
will never.
Water can get in anywhere. I
Yeah,
mean,
well,
I
that's,
was
there's,
home and
the
we had
ones that
water
we did in
running down the
Willimantic, we
wall.
had someone build for us, and they were essentially just like, and they were designed to be taken down, so this is different, but they were things with like metal panels with a thing that folded over at the top, and then a sleeve behind, so the panel made like a little roof, and it folded over. But like I said, those were designed to be temporary, they only stayed up in the summer,
Yeah, see,
Yeah.
that's,
so,
yeah. I think the winter months could create havoc.
yeah.
Maybe we
Well.
have to do some more thinking and some more,
Okay, so we can think about
Think
that
about
Yeah.
design
Yeah.
too, and
Yeah.
I've worked with story walks
Yep.
that were a lot less
Mhm.
Yeah.
high tech than that.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, like laminated pages sort of
Yep.
thing.
Yeah, we've done that
Yeah,
too.
you could eliminate the
Well,
pages and put it under something
I
that's
know.
not as waterproof.
We're welcome to ideas.
yes.
Definitely open to ideas.
Less
Yes.
than 2,000 apiece.
Yes, yes.
A lot
Less
less.
than 1,000.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I know in the cost estimate, there wasn't that much in it for the panels,
Mhm.
like $100, so we'll have to figure something out.
Yeah, it was $100, yeah. That's why I couldn't believe it when I had to look for the signage.
Yeah. Okay, and the only thing, just wanted to go through, so for the schedule update, we have 100% design development. You can come to your meeting next month, right, and, we could approve that. I'm trying to think if, well, maybe we could send you a package like 2.5 weeks from now.
Yeah, and then I can forward it if you
Okay.
have something, I can forward it.
Okay, all right. Okay, and then after that, then we do our final construction document set, which would take another 4 weeks. And so I think maybe if you guys can start thinking of any local contractors that you wanna bid this to. It's also good to call them now, or let
Right.
us know who they are.
Yep.
Say, with construction the way it is, we're gonna be lucky if we get somebody.
That is true. It's really tough.
Because this isn't a huge project.
I know, yeah, it is a very small project.
Right, so, yeah, it's really tricky these days.
Be interesting.
Yeah, so, you know, if you know of someone, it's great to talk to them now,
Yep.
you know,
Get the
even
ball
show
rolling.
them the plans, it's, you know, maybe it's small enough, well, you know, who knows?
Squeeze it in
Yeah.
between a couple of big jobs, yeah, who knows?
Right.
Hopefully
Yeah.
we can get one this summer.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um,
Sounds good.
Yeah, especially like in this area, I think, like we
Mhm.
know people in Boston, and I think
Right.
it's just far
Oh.
enough that it just seems.
It's too small of a project, I think, for somebody to come from Boston to
Every
even,
day.
they wouldn't, yeah.
Okay, well, let's finger,
Unless
like,
they want
everyone's
some-
like, we're not gonna,
maybe
no one's gonna
they-
do it, someone's gonna do it,
Maybe they
think
want
good thoughts.
summer on the lake, they
Look.
wanna stay with them. And summer on the lake, I mean.
Yeah, there you go.
Sounds good.
Here, right? See?
Come chill in Dudley, beautiful spot. Think good
John,
thoughts.
you bring the documents from the library with me? I didn't know if you wanted to pass them on. to
Sure.
Beth and
Oh,
Sharon,
let's see, good question.
or would you-
I don't know where he is. He doesn't live around here. I don't see him,
Oh,
so.
okay.
So I'll let you hold on to
Yeah,
him.
give me the address
Okay.
and ship them off, but I.
Okay.
I located the.
I will look at them before I leave, though.
Yeah, I was gonna
just
say,
wanted to-
make sure that what's in there is what's needed.
Okay.
Alright, so we're good and we'll see you next month?
Yeah,
Yep.
thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Yeah, if you hang on for, here, I'll give you these.
Okay, all right.
All right, I'd like to finish up with facility report and just ask about the poll. How are we dealing with the insurance?
I am still waiting, I was told that I needed to get an estimate to replace,
Yep.
which, as opposed to having an adjuster come out and tell me how much they'll give me.
Yep.
I have now reached out to 4 different companies and have not heard back from any of them. So it's on my list for this week to reach out, several of them I've reached out to more than once, so it's on my list for this week to reach out to everybody again
Thank you.
and be like, look, I just need a ballpark
I know.
figure.
I know.
What is not helping is that the company no longer makes the same light.
Mhm.
The pole is not the problem, it's the light itself, and so when I'm like,
So the light
it's
itself.
3 parts, it's the light,
Okay,
the arm that holds the light,
yep,
and the pole.
okay,
There are 3 different pieces.
all right.
The pole is fine, the arm is fine, it's the light itself that they don't make, and so it's finding something comparable.
And the pole that went down, what's left of that pole?
As far as I know, nothing. Yeah,
Where'd
I
it
mean,
go?
the highway department took it away.
I mean, can any of it be reused? You say it's 3 pieces, I just wonder
I don't
Part
know
of
Did
that
you
that
say
is-
the arm?
if, I don't know, I have no
I
idea.
mean, it went away.
I was gonna say, if it cracked or if it
It's
made.
Yeah.
gone
Yeah,
now.
it's, and the bottom,
No
like the
idea.
pole was sheared off, so
Oh.
that's
Yeah.
completely,
Right.
Oh, so all the electrical is shot.
I mean, they had to,
Yeah,
yeah,
you know.
it was, I mean, there were wires ripped out of it
Yeah.
in the hole,
Oh,
yeah.
jeez.
And it came all the way down, so I'm guessing that it's not.
Hmm.
And because of the angle it came down at, it didn't come onto level ground, it came down farther down the hill.
So I was just
it
wondering
went
if any of
more
it
than-
was salvageable, that's all. We have no idea if any of it
Yeah,
was salvageable. We just
but
carted
I
it
will-
away.
I will reach out to the companies that I've already reached out to and be like, guys, I just need a ballpark figure for this. Of course, then the problem is, if insurance does cover the cost, how am I gonna get somebody to actually do it? But I'll worry about that when the time comes.
And we have those lights, do we have those lights, because if we get a picture that doesn't match, do we have them in the back so we could put the unmatched one back there,
No.
and bring one out here?
The
I
one-
can't remember.
The ones in the back are not the.
They're not, I
no.
didn't think so.
Um,
They're all like 8 of
There,
them in the front?
when I went and spent some time digging through the lighting company's online catalog, which is not their full thing, they make a couple of things that are very close.
Okay,
So, I
Okay.
mean,
Yeah,
but,
we'll get a close one and
I mean,
do what you gotta do.
yeah, I
I-
mean, they're all the way up there.
Took me a
So-
while to figure out what pole she was even talking about. I must have been like 2 weeks where I was like, there's a stumpy thing there. That's gotta be
That's
it.
where it is,
So-
yeah. So I keep, reaching out and going, hello, and, yeah. So that's, I mean, I keep nudging. And eventually, someone will get tired of me nudging and will give me
Yep.
an answer.
Yep.
At least that's the hope.
And we'll get a light, which is the
A
important thing
light.
is that it lights.
And HVAC is happy?
HVAC is happy, the inspection came back, we had our annual, beginning of every year, they come and do an inspection before they do the annual maintenance stuff, and everything looks like it's good, so
Cool.
they did that. Everything else is, knock on wood, in good
Exactly.
shape, and the shelving for the teen room has been ordered. I don't have an estimate on when it'll come in, because of course, everything is backlogged these days, but it has been ordered, so.
And any luck with the lettering?
Joel from Graphics Unlimited is going to get me a, sample
Oh.
of lettering. He did not do over the children's room, or at least he does not have any record of it, so
Mhm.
he's getting me as close as he can, and he'll bring me a sample, and we'll go from there. Yes, he sent some poor young man to measure the letters and take close-up pictures over the children's room, just as story time was starting. So this poor guy's on a ladder in the doorway, and there's all these children going by.
All right.
And the plaque on the wheel?
Spring.
I
Summer.
mean, I'm guessing it's probably too cold to drill into the rock without splitting it these days anyway.
Yeah.
But we
But-
do have a flag
We have a flag, we have
that was
the,
donated generously
we
by
have the
Priscilla.
Ralph L. Carter Memorial flag, it's the
Yes.
flag from my grandfather's
Oh,
casket.
okay.
But I
And it was,
like-
the new rope went up, so that's
so,
wonderful.
Yeah, I
Yes.
did not need yet
that
another
off.
folded
Yep,
flag.
checked off the list.
And yes, and it's a much better flag than what we had.
Oh,
'cause
it
it's
is,
the real
most
heavy flag.
definitely, yes.
We have a brand new flagpole rope. It's very
Oh,
exciting.
good.
Good. Sounds good, looks good.
Okay, board members' comments and or observations?
Hearing none?
I was gonna say, we're in good shape tonight.
Yep.
Long
The
enough
next meeting will be March 23rd at 6:15.
Be here, be square.
And I will take an adjournment, motion to
Make a
adjourn.
motion to adjourn at 8:12.
Second.
Everything's gonna get soggy going up to the car.
Sounds like it's not raining as hard.
And
Slow
I
down.
don't know, something just hit the windows, so.
Well, we're supposed to get high winds. Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.